but I don't want to have kids. Let's just talk about in the case of if the person is older or anybody passes away.
Well, how he gonna help me if he's when I'm talking, it's a bit unfair.
It's not illegal, up to them, but there's sort of a moral side of things.
Let's talk about the kids.
Sometimes the woman is younger and she has expectations around family, career development, things happen in life. Is it fair to ask your partner to kind of give those things up? All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Scott and Ella. This is the Filipino-Australian family, and we are here back at our favorite little hotspot. So this is part 2 of the age gap series. Thanks for jumping onto the first one. It helped us talk about topics that we don't really know a lot about. We're just kind of feeling out because people...
it's a bit controversial.
Yeah, and people just have some belief systems. That's where it came from, is that...
We respect their opinion and suggestions.
So in celebrating our relationship, that's where we found that if there was any friction with friends and family, those were where the concerns were coming from. So it's not about what's the right age gap or is it right or wrong. But anyway, here's where the part 2 kicks in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is about age gaps where things get in the way. What I mean by that is, if you're of a certain age gap, sometimes the woman is younger and she has expectations around kids, family, things happen in life, career development, all these things. And is it fair to have, or to ask your partner to kind of give those things up? And same thing on the man's side. He's potentially older, so he's going to have less ability to go along with some of those things. So the 2 things I wanted to throw out there are, number 1, kids, when the age gap gets pretty big, such that maybe the girl can't have kids because just biology, right? And the other one I'll just mention is about later in life, as in the man, if he's older, much older, may not live as long as the woman. So those 2 things are pretty much where people get stuck up as is, it's just not fair.
Yeah.
And there's no laws against it, and that's what people say. It's not illegal, up to them, enjoy your life. But there's sort of a moral side of things. Gets you a little crazy. How about the Filipinos' opinion on that one?
Let's talk about the kids.
Right.
Because from woman and man, they are, let's say the woman wants to have kids, but the man doesn't want to have kids. Which is it's a bit unfair that the woman will be live long than that old man. Let's say that old man is very old.
Sure.
And then the woman will be left in the world without having anything like kids. Which in my side, I want to have kids. I want to have my own kids. No matter what happened, I want to have my own kid, even it's just one. And then don't worry, hon, you're not too old for that.
Well, you can talk about it, as in, if you're getting into a relationship, it's not something you can wait. I really think, we talked about that even before, early on.
But there's a woman also that they doesn't wanna have kids, especially if the guy is already old. Yeah, I understand that. Well, how he gonna help me if he's when I'm talking.
It's not like a unique situation where it's never happened before. There can be plans.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about in the case of if the person is older or anybody passes away, there should be some kind of open discussion around, well, how set is your partner going to be for life if there's not someone there to take care of them, not only just financially, but just even with connections and network and everything like that. So basically that's kind of where we're at. I mean, of course, we're trying to live in the same space, and you never know, right? You want to take care of each other, but it's not like we don't have such extreme where it's almost like a for sure thing. Let's just put the numbers out there, like a 20-year-old and a 65-year-old. It's not unheard of. That definitely exists. And then you just add some years. So add 30 years to the guy and add 30 years to the girl. So at some point she's going to end up without him.
That's
most likely.
That's a bit sad.
So it can be sad, or it can be almost just like an agreement and loving, like a loving arrangement. So I'm not here to preach and say that's the way. But I'm sure that you got to imagine they would have some agreement. And the woman's point of view, do you think she would understand and say, well, I'm happy with him, he makes me happy, and she's going to be with him until the end of his days. That's those are the words I've heard. And there's an understanding that, well, yeah, there's going to be a life afterwards. I don't know how that feels for the woman to know that, like you said, I was trying to bring that up to see how you felt, and you said, I don't want to talk about it. It makes you sad, right?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
So
because that's a bit awkward topic then.
And maybe that's not even in the Filipino culture to look so many years ahead. Because what if, right? I think the Filipino culture live much more in the moment.
And then they don't want to talk about that's such thing like they have done really like don't talk about that, you know.
Right. So that's us. We're not going to talk about that, and I don't think. But I think the idea of planning and having knowing what you have. So of course we're married, so that ends up to a point where you're going to have some certainties, no matter what, and that's including like social circle and everything. So you're incorporated into my family. You know, we've got lots of connections there, and same thing for me for you, when we're going to the Philippines. So
Yeah.
all right. So that was the old age one, but more about the kids. If the older partner wants to impose his decision saying, look, I already had my kids, I'm done, I love you very much,
But I can't have kids.
but I don't want to have kids. How about that?
If you told me that, I think I'm gonna be so sad. That's like you trying to take away that dreams also to be like a mother. Even let's say being a mother is not that easy job, but you're trying to take away that from me.
So it's more probably just about expectation, I guess. Like, and it's about not hiding something, because I think there's a piece there where people could be just not being honest, and then they just hope that the subject doesn't come up again. Like, and even for the woman, like you're not going to be out there asking for, like I really like how things are going. You want to have kids like that? It puts a lot of pressure on the relationship
I know.
when you start asking for things like that. And this is where probably in another video we can talk a little about how fast is too fast, because sometimes
How fast is too fast?
you
How fast is too fast? How
fast
fast is fast?
if you rush things, then
Oh.
then things can fall apart.
Yeah, if you
The wheels can fall off the
yeah,
car.
if you skip this step, if you skip the step,
Yeah, getting too greedy, pushing. If the trust isn't there, you're building the house, but it's made out of a shaky foundation, and then the earthquake comes.
so
Anyway, so that's just part two of the age gap. I think it kind of again, we're not here to preach, but it is interesting to hear people's comments about
age gap.
their own relationships,
Yeah,
right?
and then their own opinions about age gap. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. This is the poolside chat.
Yeah, and then it's a bit cold. My mind is freezing also.
Good night, guys.
Hi guys, goodbye.
See you
Have
next
a
video.
good night.
Don't
See
forget
you
to
next
subscribe,
video.
like, and share. See you in the next one. Bye bye.